Okay, we should have our model done and you've done your layouts, your basic layouts. So at this stage, I've got the layouts of a front, top, right, and left view. The reason to have the right and left view is so that you can show the detail of these different flange pieces. And so we're going to do, I'm not going to do the full dimensioning on this. I'm just going to show you how to do the weld symbols. And our drawing calls out for 3 times 5mm fillet weld all around. Now AutoCAD Mechanical has a symbol that you can use, and possibly in the older versions of AutoCAD it was included, but they've separated the weld mechanical symbols into a separate version of AutoCAD. So you have two options. You can either download AutoCAD Mechanical and use the weld symbol tool, or you can manually make the weld symbols, which is what I'm going to show you how to do, because this lesson is the last one. You're only doing one weld drawing, and what's important is you understand the symbology and how it functions. So we're going to start with our 3 welds. We have one that goes around this hidden line all the way around the base. We have one that goes around the base of the second flange, and then in the side view we have a third one that goes around connecting this flange to the vertical flange. The callout's going to be more or less identical for these if you do them in the views I'm doing them in. We're going to use, we're going to go to the annotate tab, and we're going to use the multi-leader. Make sure you're set up for metric scale. And I am going to have an object snap on as nearest, but I don't want it to snap to anything else. And we're going to leave ortho off at the moment. So we'll do this first weld. It goes around this hidden line, down, across. Now we want to put the symbol so it doesn't intentionally look like it's pointing at, say, one of these holes or something. So I'm going to pick here, and I'm going to draw my symbol down. And we're just going to accept the leader line as it is. We're not going to type any text at this point. Okay, so what we're doing is, again, our drawing is we're going to weld on that edge, and we want to put a 5mm fillet. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in, and we're going to extend the landing so it'll look like a weld symbol. We may need to adjust that based off the geometry we type, or the numbers we type. Now any number that occurs below this line is on the same side as the arrow. Any number that occurs above the line occurs on the back side of the part, opposite side which the arrow is pointing at. We want the fillet weld to be on the side we're looking at. So we're going to go and we're going to do a single line annotation, and for this I am going to turn on ortho, and we need to write the size of our weld, which is 5mm. Okay, so once we've done that, we need to tell the viewer what type of weld it is. So it's a fillet weld. So we need to put the symbol on this that's the fillet. So we're going to go back to home. Go to the line command, and we draw a triangle with the vertical leg. It's going to be next to the number, and it should be about the same height as the number. We turn ortho off, and we finish our triangle. So that's saying we have a 5mm fillet on the arrow side of the dimension. Now our drawing says that that fillet goes all around. It's not just on this inside edge. So to do so, we add a little circle to our symbol. And that tells you that It's a 5mm weld, fillet weld, that's going all the way around the feature. And that's about it, so you need to do that again in another location. So let's do that. We're going to go to Annotate, Multi-Leader, and we're going to select on the edge here. We want the inside edge because there's the weld that we're calling out actually occurs at a lower level than the flange on the right. Okay, and we're just going to accept that leader line. We're going to zoom in. You're going to select on it once. You're going to pick on the arrow once, and we're going to make that leader line longer, the landing line longer. Yeah, it looks like that might not be long enough. Let's go longer. Okay. Now again, we put in a single line, and it's going to be a 5mm. So we need to pick about here, and it's 5mm is the size of our weld. And then we need to tell it that it's a fillet weld. We need to tell the viewer that. So we're going to go home. We're going to go line. We're going to start there. We're going to make it a little bit taller or the same size as the lettering. We'll turn ortho off and complete our triangle. And we want to tell it we want to go all the way around that plate. So we're going to draw a little circle. Or you could copy the circle from the other one. And that tells the viewer that it's all around. Now we have one last fillet to call out, fillet weld, and it goes all the way around this feature. So we go back to Annotate and Multi-Leader. And you could put it on either side of this feature, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so we're going to do our annotation. We're going to accept that annotation. We'll zoom in, pick on the arrow, make our landing longer, do a single line. We'll select there, it's going to be 5. And then we need to draw the fact that it's a fillet. And then it's on the same side of the material as the arrow is pointing at. And that weld is going to go all the way around the edge that's referenced. There you go, you got your 3 weld symbols. You may need to adjust their locations. And remember, this needs to be fully dimensioned when you turn it in PDF format in black and white. Okay, that's the end of this tutorial, and we'll see you online.